Have you ever wondered why painful experiences so often lead to your biggest breakthroughs? Gautama Buddha pondered this very question more than 2,500 years ago, concluding that suffering isn't just an inevitable part of life, it can be a powerful catalyst for growth. Far from promoting despair, Buddha emphasized how confronting challenges can illuminate our deeper capacities for understanding, empathy, and resilience. In this guide, we'll explore why Buddha saw suffering as both unavoidable and profoundly transformative, and how you can channel hardships to foster greater wisdom and inner peace. Why suffering is inescapable. Dukkha. In Buddhist teachings, the term dukkha is often translated as suffering, though it also encompasses feelings of dissatisfaction, restlessness, or unease. Buddha observed that everyone, no matter their status, wealth, or knowledge, grapples with these forms of discomfort. Physical ailments, emotional turmoil, social conflicts, or even the realization that life's pleasures are fleeting, all fall under the umbrella of dukkha. He didn't highlight this to be pessimistic. Rather, he believed recognizing suffering was crucial if one wished to transcend it. Imagine going about your daily routine, convinced you can avoid all pain and frustration. The moment adversity strikes, say you lose your job or face a health crisis, such illusions shatter, creating even more distress. Buddha noted that this avoidance mindset actually amplifies suffering. Instead, by acknowledging that difficulties are woven into existence, we stop resisting reality and begin examining our emotional responses. Accepting the inevitability of struggle doesn't mean resigning ourselves to misery. It means stepping onto the path where real healing and transformation become possible. In everyday life, acknowledging dukkha might involve admitting that certain relationships strain us more than we'd like, or that our career successes haven't delivered unending happiness. Identifying these pains prompts us to ask deeper questions. What keeps us tethered to dissatisfaction? How can we respond differently? As we become honest about these dilemmas, we open the door to rethinking our perspectives and adopting new coping strategies, setting the stage for meaningful growth. Buddha's pivotal insight, from pain to progress. Buddha's own journey captures how adversity can awaken us to deeper truths. Born a prince, Siddhartha Gautama lived in sheltered luxury until he encountered old age, sickness, and death. Disturbed by these stark realities, he left the palace to seek an end to suffering. His eventual enlightenment under the Bodhi tree wasn't merely about escaping pain. It was about understanding its nature and harnessing it as a stepping stone to greater awareness. This idea resonates even now. Crisis points often push us to reevaluate our assumptions about life. Perhaps you endure the heartbreak of a failed relationship or the loss of a long-held dream. In the aftermath, you may question who you are without those attachments, sparking an existential or spiritual inquiry. Buddha's insight suggests that without the sting of discomfort, many of us remain complacent, locked into habitual routines that neither challenge nor enlighten us. Suffering shatters those routines, inviting us to see beyond our comfort zones and grow in ways we hadn't considered possible. Thus, suffering can serve as an unlikely mentor, ruthless yet honest, showing us where we hold misguided beliefs or where our priorities may be out of balance. By examining our emotional pain instead of burying it, we gain the courage to pivot, transform, and ultimately live with greater authenticity. Like Buddha, discovering the illusory nature of worldly comforts, we too can use suffering as a lens that clarifies what truly matters. The purpose of hardship. Spiritual awakening. Why do difficulties so often lead to personal or spiritual awakening? In Buddhist philosophy, suffering serves as a loud alarm bell, alerting us that our usual coping mechanisms, like clinging to material success or chasing fleeting pleasures, aren't foolproof. You might enjoy a high-paying job or a fulfilling romance for a while, but changes, layoffs, breakups, or health issues can leave you unmoored. This jolt can trigger a profound reevaluation of what stability and happiness really mean. Buddha believed that illusions, particularly the illusion that external achievements guarantee lasting peace, keep us trapped in cyclical dissatisfaction. hardship pierces those illusions. Imagine losing something you believed you needed to be happy. The ensuing pain can crack open your preconceived notions about life. While it's uncomfortable, this dismantling process paves the way for deeper wisdom. You learn that genuine peace must arise from within, not from external acquisitions or validations. For monks, hardship is sometimes deliberately embraced through ascetic practices or minimalist living, aiming to strip away distractions so that the underlying workings of the mind are laid bare. For lay practitioners, daily challenges, balancing finances, coping with family strife, facing societal pressures, can serve a parallel function. Each hardship reveals that the mind's freedom isn't determined by external comfort, but by the cultivated ability to remain centered and compassionate, come what may. How suffering exposes attachments. One vital role suffering plays is exposing our attachments. According to Buddha, we suffer because we latch onto impermanent things, whether objects, people, or the belief that life should be perpetually smooth. When those attachments face disruption, pain emerges, reminding us that our dependency on fragile conditions seeds ongoing anxiety. Envision how heartbreak might reveal your deep-seated fear of being alone, or how job loss might uncover your reliance on external recognition for self-worth. These revelations, though painful, are invaluable. They pinpoint exactly where we've placed undue hope in something ephemeral. Recognizing these attachments puts us at a crossroads. Cling tighter and prolong distress, or let go and find a more resilient form of peace. Monks exemplify detachment by living simply and refraining from luxuries not out of disdain for enjoyment, but to avoid the mental heaviness that possessions often bring. For laypeople, the takeaway might be a more moderate approach, repeatedly questioning whether we're too emotionally invested in certain roles or items. By gently disentangling from these illusions, we lessen our vulnerability to despair when life shifts. Through this lens, suffering becomes a beacon illuminating our deepest clingings so we can dismantle them consciously. Choosing growth, a monastic model. If suffering is inevitable, the question becomes, how do we respond? For Buddhist monks, part of the answer lies in embracing voluntary simplicity and daily meditative discipline. They view minor discomforts like rising before dawn, adhering to limited meals, or engaging in repetitive chores as opportunities to train the mind against knee-jerk reactions. Instead of seeing these routines as restrictive, monks appreciate them as a mental gym, building resilience and clarity. This approach can translate into modern life in smaller ways. If you notice you habitually avoid tasks that bring discomfort, like a challenging conversation or a fitness routine, decide to tackle them deliberately. By leaning into manageable forms of hardship, you reinforce the muscle of perseverance. Over time, bigger crises also become less daunting because you're used to facing adversity head-on rather than fleeing from it. Essentially, you cultivate what psychologists might call stress inoculation. Each instance of discomfort met with mindfulness and resolve bolsters your confidence in handling life's storms. Buddhists underscore that growth is less about the absence of hardship and more about the skillful engagement with it. Adopting a monastic mindset, even part-time, fosters a proactive, self-reliant attitude that can turn suffering into a stepping stone rather than an abyss. Suffering's role in compassion and empathy. Another crucial dimension to Buddha's view of suffering is the expansion of compassion. Personal pain often sensitizes us to the hardships others face. If you've struggled with grief or anxiety, you're more likely to sense the depth of someone else's distress, avoiding the trap of superficial platitudes. Compassion then evolves from a lofty ideal into a grounded reality, fueled by shared human vulnerability. Buddha's path after enlightenment wasn't solitary. He spent decades teaching and alleviating the suffering of countless people, indicating that insight born from his own trials ignited a profound empathy for others. In modern contexts, when a friend loses a job or endures heartbreak, your empathy resonates more genuinely if you've faced similar trials. You recall your own confusion or pain, forging a bond that goes beyond polite sympathy. This sense of interconnectedness fosters a community of mutual support, creating a ripple effect of understanding that counters alienation and stigma. Through this lens, personal suffering isn't just about your individual growth. It's also an avenue for nurturing collective well-being. By converting your adversity into empathy, you participate in a shared healing process that enriches everyone. This synergy echoes Buddhist teachings on interdependence, suggesting that our personal liberation is intimately linked with the liberation of others. Practical steps for leveraging suffering for growth. While the Buddha's insights offer a profound framework, translating them into daily practice requires deliberate action. For many of us, suffering triggers emotional upheaval, ranging from frustration to despair. The key is to transform those experiences into paths of self-awareness and development. Instead of viewing pain as an obstacle, see it as a signpost directing you toward deeper truths. Begin by acknowledging your pain rather than denying it. Name the emotion, be it grief, anger, or fear, and allow yourself to feel it without judgment. This recognition sets the stage for honest reflection on what attachments might be fueling your distress, like a hidden need for approval or a tightly held expectation about how life should unfold. Next, adopt a simple mindfulness practice. Even a few daily minutes of silent meditation or focused breathing can help you observe discomfort without letting it spiral. As you sit with these emotions, you can systematically ask, what lesson does this reveal? Perhaps you discover an over-reliance on external validation or an unmet need for boundaries. Choose small, manageable steps to address these issues, such as seeking guidance from a mentor, journaling your realizations, or actively letting go of a specific want that no longer serves you. Finally, remember that the pain you endure can heighten your empathy for others facing similar ordeals. Reach out, share your understanding, or offer support in a way that feels natural. Emphasizing compassion extends your growth beyond the personal realm, turning suffering into a collective uplift. Each day you practice these steps, suffering morphs from an unwelcome intruder into a catalyst that refines your character and widens your perspective, embracing life's imperfect journey. Buddha never promised a life free from struggle. His teachings revolve around understanding and using struggles to awaken deeper wisdom. Instead of clinging to fantasies of perpetual comfort, we learn to navigate reality with eyes wide open. This doesn't mean courting misery. It means letting each hardship expose the illusions we harbor about ourselves and the world. The illusions fall away, and in their place emerges a clearer, kinder, more flexible mindset. When you embrace the truth that suffering can nurture growth, you step off the exhausting treadmill of avoidance. Challenges remain, but they don't lock you in despair. Armed with mindfulness, self-reflection, and compassion, you stand steadier in the face of life's turbulences, confident that every storm can reveal something valuable about your own strength, your capacity to connect with others, and the ever-evolving dance of existence. In this spirit, adversity becomes not an end but a transformative chapter in an ongoing story of self-discovery. Buddha's insight that suffering is necessary for growth offers a profound shift in how we view life's darkest moments. Rather than dreading or denying pain, we can learn to embrace it as a guide toward deeper understanding, empathy, and inner freedom. Which of these practices or reflections speaks most to your current struggles? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this exploration helpful, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Monk Mindset, for more teachings on transforming hardship into a gateway for lasting wisdom and peace. Buddha's story is one of profound transformation. A prince born into wealth and luxury, he grew up shielded from life's harsh realities. Yet, despite having everything, he couldn't escape the deep sense of dissatisfaction he felt. He discovered that all life is marked by suffering, sickness, aging, and death, and set out on a quest to find a way to overcome it. What followed was a journey of self-discovery, deep meditation, and a profound revelation that would change the world forever. Today, let's explore the real story behind Buddha's enlightenment and the path he discovered to overcome suffering. Why this story matters today. We live in a world that often celebrates the pursuit of happiness, wealth, and success, yet so many still feel unfulfilled or lost. Buddha's life is a reminder that no matter how much we gain, we cannot escape the inherent suffering of life. Born in royal comfort, he had everything most could ever wish for, yet he was deeply unsettled by the suffering he saw in the world. Over 2,500 years ago, Buddha embarked on a spiritual journey to answer life's biggest question: why is there suffering and how can we end it? His teachings, focused on mindfulness, compassion, and the deep understanding of our minds, are as relevant now as they were back then. Buddha's search for meaning offers a timeless guide for overcoming suffering in our own lives, showing us that peace, joy, and enlightenment are within reach, not through external possessions, but through inner transformation. A prince's life in luxury. Siddhartha Gautama, who would later become the Buddha, was born into royalty in the 6th century BCE in what is now Nepal. His father, King Suddhodana, wanted to shield his son from the harshness of life, so he kept him within the palace walls, surrounded by wealth, beauty, and luxury. Siddhartha had everything a prince could desire: fine clothes, delicious food, and the companionship of beautiful women. Yet, despite this extravagant lifestyle, he felt a deep sense of emptiness and dissatisfaction that no material possession could fill. As a young man, Siddhartha's curiosity led him to venture outside the palace. What he saw shocked him: an old man bent with age, a sick man suffering from illness, and a dead body being carried away. He realized that no amount of wealth or pleasure could protect him from these universal experiences of suffering. It was then that Siddhartha made a momentous decision. He would leave the comforts of his palace to find a way to overcome suffering. The 4 sights and the decision to leave. Buddha's pivotal moment came when he saw what are known in Buddhist tradition as the 4 sights. The first was an old man, frail and bent with age. The second was a sick man, suffering from disease. The third was a corpse, being carried to its final resting place. And the fourth was a wandering ascetic, radiating peace and serenity despite having nothing. These sights deeply disturbed Siddhartha. For the first time, he fully understood the truth. All human beings are subject to suffering, illness, aging, and death. This realization shattered his perception of the world he had always known. Despite the luxuries surrounding him, Siddhartha couldn't escape the fact that all things are impermanent and subject to suffering. He was struck by a deep sense of urgency to find a solution. After much contemplation, he made a bold decision. He would leave his life of luxury and embark on a spiritual journey to seek a way to end suffering. The quest for truth. Siddhartha's quest for truth led him down many paths. First, he sought guidance from renowned spiritual teachers of his time. He practiced intense meditation, underwent extreme forms of self-mortification, and deprived himself of food and comfort. His aim was to push his body to the limits in an attempt to transcend suffering. Yet no matter how severe the ascetic practices became, they did not bring him closer to the peace he was searching for. In fact, they left him physically weak and mentally foggy. Realizing that extreme asceticism wasn't the answer, Siddhartha sat beneath a Bodhi tree and vowed not to rise until he found the truth. He decided to take a different approach, one rooted in balance. Buddha's insight into the middle way emerged from this moment, where he understood that neither indulgence nor severe deprivation would bring true peace. Instead, the path to enlightenment lay in living with moderation, mindfulness, and wisdom. Meditation and enlightenment. Siddhartha's moment of transformation came during a deep state of meditation beneath the Bodhi tree. For days he meditated, facing his fears, desires, and attachments. As his mind calmed, he was able to observe his thoughts without becoming overwhelmed by them. He understood the nature of suffering and how the mind perpetuates it. In that moment of clarity, Siddhartha realized that the root of suffering is attachment. Attachment to desires, identities, and the impermanent nature of life. Buddha's enlightenment was the realization that suffering arises when we cling to what is fleeting and out of our control. Once Siddhartha understood this, he experienced a profound shift. His mind was no longer clouded by desire, fear, or ignorance. He had reached enlightenment and, with it, the key to ending suffering. From that moment on, Siddhartha was known as the Buddha, the Awakened One, the Four Noble Truths. Buddha's enlightenment revealed the core teachings that would form the foundation of his philosophy, the Four Noble Truths. The first truth is that suffering is an inherent part of life. It's not something we can avoid, it is woven into the fabric of existence. The second truth reveals the cause of suffering, our attachments and desires. We cling to people, experiences, and things, expecting them to provide lasting happiness. But when these things inevitably change, we suffer. The third truth is that suffering can be overcome by letting go of attachment. Buddha taught that by relinquishing the need for constant control and embracing the impermanence of life, we can find peace. The fourth truth is the Eightfold Path, a practical guide to living with wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. This path leads to the cessation of suffering and the realization of enlightenment. Buddha's teachings offer a roadmap for transforming the mind and freeing oneself from the cycle of suffering. The Eightfold Path to end suffering. The Eightfold Path is the practical guide Buddha offered to help us end suffering. It consists of 8 interconnected practices that lead to a more mindful, ethical, and peaceful life. The first practice is right understanding, seeing the world as it truly is without distortion. The second is right intent, acting with kindness, compassion, and goodwill. Right speech involves speaking truthfully and kindly, avoiding harmful or divisive words. Right action is about living in harmony with others, refraining from harmful actions. The next 4 practices involve mental cultivation, right livelihood, earning a living in a way that doesn't cause harm. Right effort, cultivating positive mental states while abandoning harmful ones. Right mindfulness, being fully aware of the present moment. And right concentration, developing deep concentration and insight through meditation. These 8 practices work together to cultivate wisdom, ethical behavior, and mental discipline, leading to a life free from suffering and filled with inner peace. The nature of suffering and impermanence. Buddha's teachings emphasize the impermanence of all things. Everything is constantly changing. Nothing in this world is permanent, and the pursuit of stability in an unstable world leads to suffering. Buddha observed that our desire for permanence, for things to remain fixed, leads us to cling to relationships, objects, and experiences, which are all inevitably subject to change. This attachment to impermanent things causes us pain when they are taken away, and even when they remain, we live in fear of their eventual loss. Buddha's wisdom teaches us that true peace comes from accepting impermanence, not as something to be feared, but as a fundamental reality of existence. By embracing change and accepting the transient nature of life, we free ourselves from the anxiety and suffering that arise from trying to hold on to things that were never meant to stay forever. Buddha's legacy of peace and compassion. After achieving enlightenment, Buddha dedicated the rest of his life to teaching others how to overcome suffering. He didn't retreat into solitude, but actively engaged with the world, sharing his wisdom with anyone willing to listen. Buddha's teachings emphasize compassion as a core part of his path. He didn't just teach people how to find inner peace. He taught them how to alleviate the suffering of others. True enlightenment, Buddha believed, isn't about personal achievement. It's about recognizing the interconnectedness of all beings. By acting with kindness, compassion, and understanding, we help reduce suffering not only in ourselves, but in the world around us. Buddha's life was a living example of this truth, and his teachings have inspired millions to walk the path of peace, wisdom, and compassion. His legacy endures today, reminding us that the way to overcome suffering is not to run from it, but to face it with courage and compassion. Buddha's journey from a prince in a palace to the enlightened teacher of millions is a powerful reminder that true peace and liberation come from within. His path to overcoming suffering wasn't about seeking external solutions, but about understanding the nature of the mind and the impermanence of life. Today, Buddha's teachings continue to guide those seeking freedom from suffering, offering practical wisdom and timeless peace. Reflect on the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. How can you apply them in your life? If this story resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more insights. May Buddha's wisdom illuminate your path toward inner peace. In the hustle of modern life, have you ever paused to consider just how transformative a single act of kindness can be? Each of us faces busy schedules, endless notifications, and the tug of competing obligations. Yet the timeless lessons of figures like Buddha remind us that compassion and genuine care for others aren't just niceties, they're profound forces of change. In this journey, we'll explore how kindness, rooted in ancient wisdom, can become the guiding light that reshapes our world, starting with our own hearts. The seeds of kindness. Kindness may seem simple, yet its roots run deeper than most realize. Buddha's early teachings emphasize that the smallest considerate action can reverberate far beyond its initial moment. Imagine offering a genuine smile or a comforting word when someone least expects it. These gentle gestures plant seeds of connection and hope. Over time, these seeds flourish, touching countless lives in unseen ways. In a world awash with social media updates and endless distractions, it's easy to forget the power in these brief human exchanges. Buddha encouraged mindfulness so that we remain present enough to see the tiny, flickering opportunities for compassion each day. By recognizing these openings, we awaken not only our own empathy, but also our capacity for growth. Observing our motives, pausing to ask if our actions stem from genuine warmth rather than pride, can make all the difference between fleeting niceness and meaningful kindness. Once we attune ourselves to the frequency of compassionate intent, we begin to elevate ordinary moments into experiences that nurture both the giver and the receiver. The ripple effect of compassion. While a kind deed might unfold in the quiet space between two people, its influence can cascade through entire communities. Picture a stone tossed into a still pond. The initial splash is small, but the ripples extend outward in widening circles. Buddha understood the expansive nature of kindness, suggesting that each compassionate act creates waves that gently intersect with one another. This chain reaction reveals that no gesture is too trivial to matter. Even offering a few minutes to listen attentively or sending a thoughtful message can brighten another person's perspective, prompting them to share that warmth further. Before long, kindness weaves a supportive network across neighborhoods, workplaces, and online spaces. In a digital age prone to short-lived trends and viral negativity, a simple positive thought or benevolent gesture can pierce through cynicism. By acknowledging that every act of kindness bears the potential to multiply, we affirm our collective responsibility to sustain these waves. In essence, kindness is never private. It flourishes in public, forming an invisible yet potent bond among us all. How kindness transforms the self. It's often said that we become what we practice. If we practice impatience, we cultivate restlessness. If we practice greed, we fuel dissatisfaction. But by embracing kindness, we open up realms of inner transformation that Buddha championed as essential to true liberation. Kindness quiets the incessant demands of our ego, softening the harsh inner dialogue that so often chips away at our well-being. Over time, this shift cultivates a sense of self that is both more confident and more at peace. When we step outside our own bubble to empathize with another's journey, we discover an unexpected byproduct: personal clarity. The desire to be right or to assert dominance melts in the face of genuine human connection. Daily irritations lose their sting as we realign our priorities, seeing the bigger picture of unity and collective growth. With kindness, we also experience a boost in emotional resilience. Life's setbacks and disappointments become less crippling because our focus moves beyond just ourselves. In turn, the kindness we offer the world returns in subtle ways, reinforcing a cycle of mutual uplift, bridging monastic wisdom with modern pressures. In Buddha's time, the pace of life may have been slower, but human emotions and personal struggles were as real as they are today. Monastic communities existed not to isolate themselves permanently, but to deepen their understanding of the human condition. From that vantage point, they brought forward timeless insights applicable to every era. Consider how mindfulness techniques, sitting quietly with one's breath, resonate in an age flooded with digital stimuli. In a similar vein, the monastic emphasis on compassion offers a powerful counterbalance to our culture's focus on efficiency. Kindness becomes a form of rebellion against the relentless push to produce or consume. Even in the tightest schedules, a moment to share encouragement, to check in on a friend, or to volunteer one's time can counteract the fragmentation so many of us feel. These teachings guide us to see that kindness is not merely a sentimental notion. It is a disciplined practice that can be woven into our high-speed routines. Monastic wisdom invites us to ask whether our daily actions uplift or divide. In that simple inquiry, we come face to face with the real power of compassion. Turning compassion inward. Sometimes the hardest person to be kind to is ourselves. We criticize our perceived shortcomings and replay mistakes in our minds as if they define us. Yet Buddha's teachings suggest that compassion is incomplete if it doesn't include self-compassion. By engaging in gentle self-reflection, we learn to treat our inner struggles as stepping stones rather than roadblocks. This shift in perspective transforms failure from a label into a learning opportunity. Modern life, with its endless highlight reels, fosters comparison and a sense of never measuring up. Kindness to ourselves breaks that pattern, reminding us that each path is unique and that growth is rarely linear. Extending the same empathy we offer others to our own imperfections fosters emotional equilibrium. Instead of spiraling into shame or stress, we develop a sense of patient understanding toward our journey. Over time, this nurtures a confident, grounded disposition that radiates outward. In practicing inward kindness, we generate a more stable platform from which to engage with the world, reinforcing the truth that care given to oneself is not selfish, but a prerequisite for authentic connection. Overcoming obstacles to kindness. Despite our best intentions, barriers to kindness arise. Busyness, cynicism, fear, or simple forgetfulness. Buddha was aware of these mental hindrances that dilute our capacity for compassion. Think of the overwhelming workload or the barrage of troubling news, each an invitation to retreat into indifference. Yet, the practice of kindness is most potent when tested by difficulty. By consciously pausing when stress spikes or skepticism creeps in, we reclaim the choice to respond empathetically rather than react defensively. This pause is not about denying tough realities. It's about acknowledging them without letting them overshadow our innate impulse to care. With consistent mindfulness, we see each hurdle as an opportunity to deepen kindness. Whether it's dealing with an unkind remark or navigating a tense negotiation, empathy shines through when we perceive that others, too, carry burdens. Embracing this awareness diffuses hostility, allowing a heartfelt exchange to grow from what might otherwise be a standoff. Compassion, then, isn't a passive surrender. It's a deliberate choice to maintain humanity, especially when circumstances tempt us to abandon it. The generosity of forgiveness. Forgiveness embodies one of the highest forms of kindness, requiring courage, empathy, and humility. Buddha's parables repeatedly highlight how holding onto grudges ties us to suffering. When we cling to resentment, we remain bound to a cycle of hurt. But by choosing forgiveness, we cut those ties and free ourselves to move forward. This doesn't trivialize the harm done. Rather, it acknowledges that compassion for both self and the offender can pave a healthier path. In modern life, the notion of forgive and forget can seem naive. Yet there's quiet wisdom in releasing the bitterness that accumulates when we hang on to anger. Doing so demands we relinquish the desire for retribution and cultivate compassion instead, even if we maintain necessary boundaries for our well-being. In that delicate dance of letting go, we tap into a reservoir of kindness that fosters profound healing. Though it may challenge our pride, the act of forgiveness becomes a statement of emotional freedom. We affirm that our hearts are not confined by the wounds of the past, but open to the prospect of reconciliation and growth, creating a kindness movement. When communities unite in kindness, we witness transformations that extend beyond individuals. Picture workplaces that prioritize empathy, families that nurture emotional warmth, or online forums that model respectful dialogue. These changes begin with tiny steps: someone championing inclusive policies, a neighbor organizing a shared garden, or a friend calling just to check in. Buddha's insight teaches us that when compassion is not merely a sporadic act but a sustained mindset, it alters the culture around us. Each person who decides to prioritize kindness, whether through consistent volunteer efforts or simply offering encouraging words, contributes to a collective shift. The more of us who join in, the more profound the effects become. As cynicism wanes and trust grows, communities become safer, more supportive environments where everyone can thrive. Each day presents a choice: to perpetuate division or to spark a small flame of goodwill. Over time, those flames converge, illuminating a path forward where kindness stands as an undeniable force for good. In that light, we see that ancient teachings on compassion are not relics of a bygone era, but living philosophies that renew our modern world. Kindness truly is a power that transcends ages, bridging ancient insights and modern struggles in one continuous thread of hope. If this resonates with you, consider subscribing to Monk Mindset, my YouTube channel dedicated to exploring these timeless teachings in everyday contexts. Through openness and shared stories, we nourish each other's kindness, building a collective spirit that lights the way. How will you carry forward the power of kindness today? Join the conversation and let's keep this movement alive.